Hello everybody, welcome back and welcome to another episode of The Streets in Blackpool. Today's episode is part 2 of my Central Drive video. The last video we did, part 1, was what people would call the posh end of Central Drive, which starts on the corner of Waterloo Road and St Anne's Road, and we finished at the bottom of Lune Grove, and now we're here. So let's head on down Central Drive and take a look. Community cafe there, his provision, it says. That used to be a nice little restaurant there, and they used to do these little Thai fish cakes, which were possibly one of the most delicious things I've ever eaten. Although I can't remember what that restaurant was called, but I went there once and it was absolutely amazing. Here's our little field development. I've actually got a video of that. It's on one of my older, if it's a Blackpool or Rigby Road videos, when it's all fenced off and you can just see through the fence, and there's like giant mounds of earth and what looks like a little river running through it. It's really odd to see it like that, but it's looking greener, isn't it? Not sure if all that greenery is grass. I think a lot of it is grass, but there's some bits of weeds and stuff. Now hopefully we'll get all of Central Drive done in part 2, but depending on how long the video gets, it may end up being 3 parts. We'll just have to wait and see. The junction we're coming up to now is Rigby Road. We know Rigby Road well because we've been up there many times recently. You've got your Bingo Club 3000 development, your Taco Bell building, the tram sheds, Vauxhall Village. There's a ton of stuff going on there. I think we can just run across there. I think the lights are on red, so I'm just going to run across quick before they change. We've got Westmoreland Avenue up there and Queen Victoria Road down there. We are heading on up Central Drive. A good block of houses down here, just residential. Maybe some guest houses, apartment, bedsits, whatever you want to call them. When I was a little girl, I remember all the houses on this block, what I'm walking past now, what you can see, they were all really bright and cheerful little boarding houses, bed and breakfast, guest houses, whatever you want to call them, and they all had little window boxes in with little flowers in, and there were always like people milling around outside, families with sun hats and buckets and spades just waiting to go to the beach. But it was very much here a little guest house area. We're heading on to the junction now of Central Drive and Grasmere Road. That little property there on the corner that says Tower Pads, I think that's a little letting agency. Used to be a post office when I was little, but I'm almost sure I remember it being a small restaurant as well. We've got the junction here, we've got Revoe Street there, where the famous Blackpool Library is. Grasmere Road leads along down there. A good block of shops there. One of those shops that used to be like a little radio rentals place, a place where you would rent out a television, if you please. Because when I was a kid, most people didn't have colour TVs, and the few people that did, a big portion of them rented them because they were so expensive. That's Salthouse Avenue there. Been down there enough times. Ruby's Posh Paws. I think that used to be a hairdresser's. Used to be called Gwen Kendall's, I think. On one of these corners there was Gwen Kendall's hairdressers, painted in a nice blue and white, and on the next corner there was a little clothes shop called P&D Stores, and I always get the two mixed up as to where they were. You got McCall's over there, that used to be called the card shop, and they just sold mainly greetings cards and stuff like that, but it was also a paper shop, and I used to buy a lot of my comics from there. You can see Haven Foods there. That used to be a super duper posh furniture shop when I was a kid, or at least that's what I called it. Me and my sister, we called this shop that posh furniture shop on Central Drive. That was literally its name as far as we were concerned. And in the front windows they had some of those nice bedroom displays, you know, those like classic old ones with the wardrobe on either side, and then the bed in the middle, little cabinet on either side and a little overhang. They had a display like that, and it was all in cream and gold, and I decided I definitely wanted a bedroom like that when I was older, and I never got it, of course. Now there was a restaurant down here, was it there, called the Green Dolphin or something, I don't recall. There's a couple of second-hand shops down there, but now we've got mainly convenience stores and eateries. Got little Revoe community Central Drive Park here, whatever it's called. There was a little street running straight upwards, I think, called Rigby Road. I can't recall when I was younger. But the bit there where I've got the camera, I remember when they were developing that, and it was just like a gigantic big pile of mud, and me and my sister once went walking through it in our new school shoes. Mother was not pleased when we got home. Of course, here we can see the old George site, and look, that is where the George pub stood. And for those of you that have been wanting an update on what's happening here, the answer is nothing. It was all kind of de-weeded at one point, because all these buddleia bushes and weeds, they were so tall they were reaching the top of the fence. So at some point they just pulled it all down. But yeah, that is the old George site today. Buddleia's growing back. You know, people consider these buddleia bushes or butterfly bushes weeds. Some people consider them lovely flowers. Personally, I like them. They do grow a little wild though, but they do attract butterflies, which I'm not the biggest fan on, because I've got a big fear of moths, so I'm kind of a little bit sketchy on butterflies too. You can look across the road there, you've got the Trinity Hospice shop. That's where I took a load of my stuff when I had a big clear out, because the Trinity Hospice was so good to me when my son was sick. So when I was giving my stuff away, that was the place I gave it to. That used to be the Trinity shop, material and stuff and buttons and zips and all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, I took all my stuff there, and I've also got some good bargains from there as well. So I probably think I'm going to end this Central Drive video part 2 at Bethesda Square, and then do the last bit in part 3, otherwise the video will get too long. We've got Louise Street there. It's a pawn shop on that corner and one on that corner. Now one of them, I'm not sure which one it was, I think it's that one. Of course it's not the same business, I'm going back 30 years. When my daughter was born, was desperate for money and really poor, so I pawned my Nana's gold bracelet and a very precious necklace what I had, meaning I'd get it back a month later just to buy groceries that week. And when it was in the pawn shop, the place got robbed, so I lost everything. So that was pretty heartbreaking. But anyway, past is the past, and we're going to finish this video at the old Bethesda Terrace site, Bethesda Road, Bethesda Square. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I shall see you very soon in part 3. Goodbye.